Hello, everybody. How are you? Guys, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about Kobe. First of all, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, and thoughts and prayers to his wife, family, friends, and fans. And in addition, thoughts and prayers to, and rest in peace to, the other victims of the helicopter crash today here in Southern California, including his daughter, the other passengers, and they've named some names, but then later they said there was more, so I'll defer from trying to remember those names. But thoughts and prayers to all the victims of that helicopter crash and their family and friends. So I just wanted to take a minute and talk a little bit about Kobe. And one of the things that was interesting on the radio was that a lot of the fans calling in said that he seemed like a family member. And I guess that's relatively common when you have somebody famous that a lot of people like can identify with. So I just thought I'd leave some thoughts on what Kobe meant personally to me. And so to give you a little context in terms of sports, we moved to Cleveland, Ohio area, specifically Cuyahoga Falls, which is a suburb of Akron, which is south of Cleveland, about 40 miles, I believe. So we moved to the northeast Ohio area in 1978. Now, prior to that, we lived in Des Moines, Iowa. Before that, we lived in Canada. So I didn't live anywhere there was a local American pro sports team. So I didn't have any allegiance. Now, when we lived in, so that's basically it. So now in Northeast Ohio, we had professional sports, and I was immediately a Browns fan. Browns were exciting at the time, and will be again. And I was a huge Browns fan. Now, we went to the Cavs games, but I wasn't necessarily a Cavs fan, just because, even though I can remember the audience saying, Austin Carr! And so I'd repeat that name all the time, just like that, in the car, and my friends would get annoyed. I just like that name. But they weren't, a great team. So I had nothing against the Cavs. We went to the games all the time, but I just wasn't a fan like I was the Browns. We'd sit in the dog pound, at the Browns games. So then I moved to LA in 91, and it was, when you first move to a major sports town, it's really impressive, And so immediately I was a Lakers fan, and that was 91. Now, Kobe came, I'm going to guess, to Lakers in 96, I think. And then the three-peat years were like 2000 to 2002. And so those three-peat years, in terms of what Kobe meant to me, of course, he was a Laker since 96 and then for 20 years. But specifically, those three-peat years, you can't believe the excitement in a city like Los Angeles. It was just unbelievably exciting for all of that time. And you just felt like, wow, we are in the center of the world. I know that's ridiculous, but it just felt like the whole world is watching this city, my adopted hometown, and this guy, this Kobe Bryant, who's not the tall, I think he was 6'6". He's not the biggest guy. You know what? I thought he was the Gretzky of the NBA. That's what I thought. Because he just had that sixth sense to make plays and to score. Plus, he was kind of different than, he went right into, he didn't go to college, I don't think. I think he went right into the NBA from high school, or maybe he was a year out of high school. Something like that. But he played in Italy. So maybe he played in Italy that 1 year or something. I don't know. And he spoke Italian. So he just was a little bit different than your normal NBA cat. And he just had that ability to make plays and to make things happen and to win. just like Jordan had that ability to win and score. It's just and Gretzky. It's an amazing thing when somebody has that X factor to consistently be a great player. And of course, there's I just named a few. There's a number of players that fill that bill. But anyway, Kobe was our guy during those years, and so yeah, when the emotions run that deep on a sports team over a long period of time, and then the main guy is no longer with you at a very young age. He was only 41. That's young. I remember when I thought I was old. I got a job, and I remember my boss saying she was 44. I was 33 or something like that, and I just thought 44 is so old. Oh my gosh, they're 44. Whew. It just sounded like they were ancient. I can't imagine somebody 18 when they meet somebody that's like 50 something. That'll be like, oh my God, they're like my grandparents. So that's an extraordinarily young age, to pass away, especially. Well, I mean, for anybody, but the guy was doing so much with women's sports. He was a big advocate of his daughter's sports, and got involved in his daughter's sports, and was helping lead and influence that he could in that area. I'm not as familiar with what he was doing. I'm just going by what I heard today on the radio. And of course, it's even worse that one of his daughters was, that we know of, or at least that has been reported, was on the flight. Right now it's 4:51 on Sunday the 26th when it happened. So we'll find out maybe more, or it might change as the investigation develops by the officials and by the authorities, etc. But anyway, so the Lakers were my team, my basketball team, right? And then Kobe comes in, and he's Kobe. And then they win the three-peat. Boom, boom, boom. 2000, 2001, 2002. I mean, I just felt honored to be part of that. To be part of that, I just couldn't believe it. I've never felt anything about a team like that, or seen it. I've been in the city where something like that could happen. So, yeah, Kobe, rest in peace.